My name is Monica Alford with Wildside Media, and I'm so excited to be in Legacy Sessions today with two more 2024 Capital Pride honorees. And while I know them both very well, I would love to have them each introduce themselves and share what they're up to in DC and why they think they may have received this amazing honor. I mean, I know why, but I'll pass it right to Hope.
Absolutely. So my name is Hope Giselle, and I am the new CEO, Executive Director, and President of the National Trans Visibility March, as well as the founder and Executive Director of Allow Me. We work together in partnership to make sure that not only are we creating safe spaces around DC for LGBTQIA plus people, but focusing really on the trans folks of DC, making sure that we have safe spaces to collaborate, talk, and just really build up room for a conversation that really includes the entirety of the community.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And I am Jose Alberto Ucles. I am a proud out and loud sometimes Latino man. I'm originally from Honduras in Central America. And one of the things with my background was coming out in my country was very hard. But here in the city, I have been involved in multiple types of scenarios where I used to work for the Whitman Walker Clinic in development at probably at the height of HIV and AIDS. And I was lucky to be appointed the director of Capital Pride for, I did it for 97, 98, and 99. So it's sort of a coming back, a trip which is very close to my heart. And I have been involved in the arts and humanities culture for about probably the last 20 years of my life, especially with 10 years majoral appointment to the DC Commission on Arts and Humanities. And with my husband, Tom, we were one of those rare couples that showed up at small and big events everywhere. So we got to know the amazing and great creative community and art makers that are here in the city. So that's part of my interest, is making sure that we, LGBTQ plus or gay, like I love saying, that we're everywhere and we're helping each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So coming up on this year's Pride, whether it's an official Cap Pride event or unofficial, obviously we know this Friday you will both be honored at MGM and National Harbor. Very excited to party with you both and celebrate you. Is there any programming or event that you're particularly excited about? And it's a two-parter, so both from a festive perspective, like something you really look forward to just because it's so vibrant and it's so, joyful, and also from more of an advocacy standpoint, something that you think is really important that happens during Pride in DC that maybe either or both of you have been involved in helping, to make happen or start initiating in the district.
Well, I know for me, the NBJC, or the National Black Justice Coalition, is hosting an equity ball. And I think that for the first time in a really long time, there's a space for folks to come together and really show ballroom culture in a way that doesn't feel like it's been washed out, or like it's been rewritten by the production of Pose and FX and that entire little reign, because for a while we lost it. Right. And so I'm really, really excited about what we're getting able to come to do, especially as folks of color. And the way that we do ballroom is actually gonna, that'll be our let our hair down moment. Yeah. But I think as far as advocacy and activism goes, I think that the award show on Friday is what I'm really looking forward to, and not just because I'm one of the recipients, but I think that I'm always talking about what it looks like to give folks their flowers when they're here. Yeah. And to know that there's a space where that is going to be happening. And I also get a chance to be introduced or reintroduced to people who I love and I follow and I take inspiration from. I think that that's a way to really galvanize the next generation of folks to come behind. And I'm really excited for it.
Absolutely. And a quick question, when is the Equity Ball and where is it held?
June 14th at 9 p.m. at the Howard Theater. Tickets are $25. And you can feel free to visit the Equity Ball website. I'm sure it's there, and it's also available on Eventbrite.
Okay, in my case, I hope the work you do is tremendous in the city, and I totally agree with everything you said. To me, I guess to some extent, is the ceremony, the award, the actual, because it's a very loving and big community in Washington, D.C. And I've been involved at so many levels that we cross in the theater, in embassies, in cultural events, that it's wonderful to see friends and new friends coming to one night where we're celebrating, because that actually officially kicks Pride season.
Right.
So I think it's going to be quite exciting. From a personal standpoint, I'm looking forward to the parade. I've done New York in a float. I've done DC in a float, but I have never ridden a convertible car down 14th Street, the route. And that's exciting. And I did convince my husband that he should be the waving first gentleman, first lady, whatever. So it's exciting because I love Pride Parade. I love that energy of the parade. And I think it's nice to be visible. When it comes to next year, I am really excited because I have accepted to be part of the committee, specifically Art and Culture for World Pride 25, in World Pride DC 25. And I'm lucky to have Monica also in the same committee. And it's exciting that that's happening because that to me is a big deal. And I hope people come out, support it. We need to find donors. We need to make sure that the city is involved. My ideal model for World Pride DC 2025 would be like the Cherry Blossom Festival, where the Cherry Blossom Festival is happening. There's cherry blossom posters, flyers, decorations everywhere, and everybody is involved. And thanks to the fundraising, the DC community is able to enjoy so many free events, which I hope happens with World Pride. So that's very exciting.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question. You beat me to it. Just anything around World Pride that you're both excited for, or really want to see happen as part of this opportunity that we have.
I just want to make sure that we do not forget that DC is not a white gay man's city. And I think that for so long, especially when we look at Pride and when we think about Pride, the first thing that we think of, and I think that sometimes the first thing the right-wing folks think of are rich, accessible white gay men in harnesses. That's what they think Pride is.
Yes.
And I think that when you're a part of community, you recognize that outside of that, because that is a part of what Pride is in some ways. I think that oftentimes we look out as people of color and we don't see ourselves represented. We don't see people speaking Spanish in ways that help us to be able to really bring back in the House of Extravaganza and all of those amazing women who are part of the trans community who were in ballroom, but now their language is being cut out of the Pride celebration, or the amazing strides of Black and brown folks. Marsha P. Johnson is plastered all over Pride, but then you don't see Black folks or Black talent or Black entertainment being showcased in that same way, at least not on the main stages. It's always something that's an afterthought. And so I was really excited that Capitol Pride asked us to do Trans Pride next year in a lead up way, so that not only is it an afterthought, but it's something that really helps to ring in Pride. If you want to get to the the accessible white gay guys and the harnesses, you have to pass a bunch of trans women of different experiences and trans men of different experiences and non-binary people. So I'm really excited to be able to be a part of that, but I also am really excited to see what it looks like in fruition, especially because we're going to have so many different cultures here.
Yes, we are. Yeah. I mean, and not to mention everything you said is spot on, but femme and non-binary voices too. The community really sometimes feels underrepresented outside of the harnesses. I'm going to say that now. Now I lovingly make that comment sometimes too, and it's I don't think it's anything other than accessibility, and it's just breaking that mold and creating new opportunities for everyone. So yes, I'm very excited about that too. I was actually chatting with somebody from Cap Pride leadership recently about, I'm going to completely blanking. It was Sydney, right, where World Pride was last year.
Sydney,
Australia.
Yes, and they were talking about going and kind of doing the R&D of seeing what it was going to be like. And it was Tiffany Royster, and she was saying getting off the plane was going to Hawaii and getting laid. The second you come off, immediately you knew it was World Pride. It was just like you were saying with cherry blossoms all over the place, the visuals, everything. everything. And so that was such a overwhelming, kind of presence right out of the gate. And so how do we recreate that here, And so the second you are
Get on
anywhere in
with
the
it.
city, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
it-
that
this is
was
what we're
great.
here.
Yeah.
And it does make a big difference.
It does.
And I like what you said, because as somebody who has been out or has lived in this city 40 years,
Yep.
I've seen the prejudices to some extent, even within our own community,
Sure.
where it is all either the white boys and lesbians are left out, or we Latinos, or the African American representation is not there. Even a prejudice to drag, even though now there's drag brunches and drag events everywhere. But I would like to see a coming back of that drag king culture that when I was here younger and in this city, you could see quite a bit.
Agreed.
So, but with World Pride, I think we have a good leading team that is making sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, and that everybody is included. Because when you look at the planned programming, it looks very inclusive.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad. And that it's happening in DC, because DC is not an easy city.
Yeah.
I love DC. I love our metro area, but we have to remember it's a political city.
Indeed.
But hopefully next year we will still be in a positive spirit, as we hope that we have a Democrat in power. Sorry, have to say that.
No apologies necessary.
Okay.
We get it. We get
And
it.
I mean, I could not see this world changing that much. So
Yeah.
we hope we're remaining positive. And I have to personally say thank you to DC Mayor Bowser for the great support that she's already putting in financially into World Pride 25. And I'm encouraging City Council to do the same thing. And we have like Events DC, Destination DC. It's going to be memorable, and people in the world will be able to see what a wonderful, diverse, and welcoming community is, not only in Washington, D.C., but in the U.S., despite
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's a great point. No, you're right. It provides visibility for our city's creative community as well.
Indeed.
Yeah, not just the queer community.
I
Yeah,
didn't mean
absolutely.
to do a sermon.
I'm here for it.
I got
I'm like,
inspired.
yeah, keep going.
Yeah,
Oh my
thank
God.
you.
So I think other than sharing with everybody, how they can stay in touch with you and follow you, I'd love to know if there's anything that you would say to anyone who's watching or listening. It can be time sensitive, it can be ongoing. Anything that you think they should do to support the queer community, or the perhaps a resource or a nonprofit or a individual they might not know about that they could follow or support in some way, because I think a lot of folks, in my opinion, especially in a post-COVID world, whether it's queer community, creative community, both of those together, which tends to be my overlap, a lot of the arts and culture within the queer community is. Everyone wants a sense of connectedness. Everybody wants to support one another, and dialogue is so important right now. So anything that you'd want to share, general or specific, that you think folks could do to support?
Well, I often think that I'll have trans youth ask me things like, well, what do I do, and what's the best advice that you would give? And I think that more so than anything, more so than like telling you about the fun activities, it's about reminding you that you get to run your own race. And nobody gets to tell you how to be trans or what the best way to be trans is. No one gets to tell you that your non-binary doesn't show up in a way that makes them feel comfortable or that makes you look any less invalid. No one gets to tell you what your womanhood or your manhood or your masculinity or your femininity should look like. You decide those things and run the race that feels good for you. There are going to be some people that feel like they are excelling you, and there are going to be some folks that look like they have it all together right now, and that is okay, because that is what their journey is supposed to look like. Your right now will come, and there will be somebody that you'll get an opportunity to tell these exact same words to. Slow and steady wins the race, and even if that slow and steady does not look slow and steady for other people, trust and believe you never know the backstory, so take your time.
Oh, wow, that's amazing advice.
Well, you knocked it out of the park. I once again agree. Couldn't have been a better conversation here today, and I feel uplifted in so many ways. Having come out when I was really actually 17, 18, it was a hard journey. And even though people say now it's a little bit easier to do it because there's so many organizations, so much support, it's still hard for somebody coming out. And like Hope said, it's indeed a race that you have to do at your own pace. And the thing that worries me sometimes is in the world that is so connected that sometimes we lose like this warmth of an actual conversation and involvement in the community. So I do encourage young people who are coming out to always be themselves. Yeah. Don't try to be like anyone else. Your own heart, mind, soul matters more than anything. And you need to make sure that you embrace the differences of other people and you welcome people into your life. And if you need help, please ask for help. There's many wonderful organizations. We are working hard in this city to make sure that we have a LGBTQ plus community center that is coming up, and that will be hopefully finally a center, a building where we can all come together and help each other. Absolutely. One of the concerns I have sometimes is that suicide rates are still high amongst our community, and we as older folks or people who have been around the block a few times, we should embrace and volunteer and help mentor people who are coming out. And I think volunteering, getting involved, don't be shy. You'll be surprised what great rewards you can do. And never be afraid to be yourself, because you get one life, one-way ticket, and you better enjoy it and make the best out of your life, because it's about you.
Wow. I mean, these
are
like slogans. I feel like I need to have these on posters, and this is amazing. So well spoken. Thank you both. And I honestly thank you for mentioning the new DC LGBTQ Community Center, which is, I know, slated to be open sometime this year near Howard Theater. And I'm going to use this as a shameless plug because it is a fundraiser that Wildside Media is hosting Walk on the Wild Side Pride Party in Union Market District next Saturday, June 15th, or several Saturdays from now. So we will be raising money for the new center in tandem with Capital Pride Alliance, and we're very excited. It'll be a whole day. As I said, the sweet spot for me is supporting underrepresented parts of the queer community, so femme, non-binary, trans, people of color, and artists, and the arts and culture community. So makers, performing arts, live art installations, all sorts of things. So please, even if anyone can't attend, they should still just go to the Eventbrite, see what artists are part of it, and they can get linked right to the donation page for the Capital Pride Alliance's campaign. So thank you for mentioning that. So please tell us how we can follow you, reach you, support you.
Yay. So you can follow me at Hope Giselle on everything. And you can definitely support me by purchasing one or both of my books. So I have 2 books right now, and the links to those are available on my Instagram, which means that you should go to my Instagram and follow me, and then click the link and then buy them. And please support. I'm actually getting married this weekend, and there's a movie that goes in tandem with that. So if you see this before June 1st and you want to witness what the wedding looks like, it'll be there, and you'll be able to watch the movie and purchase your tickets all via my website, which is hopegiselle.com.
Wow. Well, congratulations. We kind of already knew that, but I'm glad you told everybody. So, yeah, very excited for you. Very excited for you.
We are very excited for you, and I think it's the work you do is amazing. And Monica, the work you're doing also is great. I also want to give a shout out to Capital Pride Alliance and the team of people. Having done so many prides that I helped organize with the board and dealing with all the partners and all the community, it's hard work. And Capital Pride Alliance and Ashley Smith, who is the president of the board, is doing an amazing job, and is bringing an amazing team, like even Monica and Wildside Media, to giving all of us as a community, and I never get tired of saying this because a lot of these events, even though some might have a donation component, it's a free event for the community. Parade, the festival, all the stuff that we see, and the inclusion and how hard all these volunteers, these young people and mature people are working.
Yes.
It's worthy of saying kudos, congratulations, gracias, merci, because it's amazing. For me, you can follow us in Instagram at Artsy Fashion Peacocks. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much for your time
Thank you for
today.
having me.
Congratulations again.
You
We'll
just
see
got
you
the
on Friday.
best out of us.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, it's not hard, but yeah, thank you both so much.
A
All right.
pleasure.